welcome Laura to the digital search skill presentation from Christina Adams, which is me, and Karen Caldwell, professor. And this, so today we're going to learn some skills about internet searching, which might help in your research and your projects for your higher education career. So after considering the questions in your survey, just kind of keep those in the back of your mind as we go through this thing. But I just wanted to ask, in the survey, there are some questions about what you kind of already knew and what you feel comfortable with. And I was just wondering if each of you could share one of your go-to search strategy keyword.
Yeah, I would say I rely on Google. I'm like a Google Kung Fu, that's my go-to. Yeah.
Me too, for most. So this was a learning experience for me too. But yeah, Google and keyword are both really popular, common strategies. YouTube, yeah, I'm a university fan. So today we're just going to go over some digital search skills that you might not have heard of or may have heard of like briefly and kind of forgotten about. But they are really helpful and they're hacks to make Google work better for you. And you can refine your internet searches to find information on specific topics. And then once you do those searches, we'll show you a way to manage your information by setting up search alerts so that you'll get information kind of just delivered to you while you sleep. So I'm Christina Adams. I'm a graduate student in the EdTech Instructional Design program, and I'm an aspiring instructional designer. So I was really interested in helping present this workshop. I took it, I think, 3 semesters ago, like last fall, 2 falls ago. And it was the first time I had heard of any of these strategies. And so kind of like magic to me once I learned them. And I'm hoping that I can share something with you guys that you may have not heard of, or just remind you of a few that you already know. So we talked about the go-to strategies. The first thing, you're welcome. The first thing that is a great hack is Google Scholar. And it's just a little bit of a refined version of Google where you get just scholarly information. So when you did, we can, yes, in the chat, Karen has posted the Google site link that you can click on. And if you go to that site and just type in a search about a topic that you need to search anyway, and just see what happens when you get your results. So we can just take a couple minutes and go to the Google site in the chat and then just enter a search based on what you already kind of have in your toolbox for searches.
Once you've given it a try, just unmute and comment or chat your thoughts if this is new to you or anything that kind of stands out to you. But just do one search, share what you found.
Is this how people do a lit review?
Very often. Had you heard of Google Scholar before?
I have, but I have not done it just like you directed us to, right? So in Google, you can click to the Google Scholar tab, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen it before, but it's not the same as this. It's a little different. So I haven't used it like this, no.
Correct. Google will give you the option to go to Google Scholar if the search that you put into Google yields relevant. But if you put in McDonald's, for example, it's not likely to give you an option to go to Google Scholar. So what we recommend is while you have it on your screen in your favorite browser is to bookmark it.
Okay.
And you can just Google Scholar, like type it into the search bar and it'll just how I found it today.
Yeah.
So when you put in your search criteria and you got your results, did you get relevant results? Does Google Scholar only work for research? I guess it would be best for research because they're kind of filtered for scholarly articles and publications. So there are things that you can cite kind of confidently as opposed to just plain Google.
It also gives you links to book as well. So you're not guaranteed quality and trustworthiness. You should take an extra step in general. But by default, you're already kind of in the right room of the library, the digital cloud library, by going there. It's already trying to filter out more sort of peer-reviewed resources, such as a published book. Okay, so Melissa has asked, does Google Scholar only work for research? The answer is no. I often go there instead of Google itself because it gives much better, sort of by default, slightly higher quality findings. Plus, it filters the content not according to how much advertising dollars has been spent. So that's another, for me, another layer of transparency. But typically by default, Melissa, it would be for something that you're researching for something work related, for example. So in our policy class and in other classes that I teach, when we solve a problem, there are always two prongs of research. One is research, the other is best practice. So we might use Google to find other examples of how the problem might have been solved elsewhere in another organization. But Google Scholar will give you also the research that might have been done around that topic or with that organization. So it's always a good default to go to if you're looking up anything for your professional purposes as well. So I would say scholarly and professional purposes as a default.
So when we searched for the I'm sorry, when we did our search for the results, did you find what came up as relevant? That were you able to find results that match exactly what you were looking for?
I'll just say for me, I mean, I put in a very general term and, it looks, and of course, so now I'm ready to dig into the things that are there. So yes, I would say to answer your question and yes, no, yes, very relevant. And it looks like I need to refine, my search terms because it's, overwhelming and help filter through to what I'm looking for. So yeah.
So does anyone have any suggestions about how we can direct the search to get the results that we need, like a more refined, relevant result? Yep.
Filter.
All right, so here's our first hack. Synonyms. If you try to include different words that have the same meaning in your search, you can kind of, the Google Scholar will detect more articles that might be relevant to what you're searching for. And sometimes because it's kind of word specific, if you were to type in like maroon instead of pink or something, you might get something that matched that was relevant, even though you didn't at first think it would matter. And so there are some ways that you can, some words don't seem like they have another word for it. And in those cases, you could look up in a thesaurus on Word or online. And I think even Google, if you type in like the word and then synonym, it will give you a list of all the synonyms that come along with it. Or you can ask other people, your professor, your instructor. They might have like a technical word that matches something that is in the business that might not be just something that people toss around in everyday language.
So as an example, I was trained to think in the mind of the writer. So if I want information from someone in England, what terms might someone from the UK use? And it's really about almost like empathy or putting yourself in the shoes of the people who write about this. So when I'm looking for scholarly content, I use higher level words typically. But if I'm in Google looking for an organization, that manufactures dairy products or that, sells dairy products, I'll use different, less formal language. So it's about putting your mind in the writers of the type of content you want. So for example, I teach a course called Instructional Design. And if I'm looking online, I probably will use, I'll hand over to Laura and Christina. What other terms do you know for instructional design?
Design thinking.
Learning experience design, all of those things. So lots of different expressions now related to that field. So it's really about thinking not only about synonyms, but who's writing it. And Melissa gave a great example of looking for her own clients in the North Country. And so you would use less formal terms for the resources that they're looking for if they're sort of everyday resource, right? So you would use less formal, kind of plain English, less jargon. So that's also another way of looking at the synonyms aspect. And Christina has a great extension of this hack. So when you do have your list of synonyms, there's another hack, what to do with them.
Nice. So you have your synonyms. Now what? So hack number 2 is a Boolean operator. Now, when I took this workshop, I had no idea what they were. So I thought it was a cool word and also very helpful. But a Boolean operator is just using a word, in this case, the word or in capital letter, and you use it with brackets or parentheses around the words that you want to look up. So if you say you wanted to look up tropical, or Arctic, put those in like a bundle. It's almost like a mathematical formula at that point. And the or kind of combines the two, and it's in the parentheses. And that gives you a more directed search. So
Would you
if
like me to?
yes.
Sorry, Christina. Would you like me to illustrate?
Yes, please.
Okay. So how about if you stop sharing, I will share my screen. And okay, can everybody see Google Scholar?
Yes.
Okay. So what Christina first suggested was internet search. So if I just bing that in there, it's overwhelming. There are so many, and it doesn't. We want actually the research and other high quality content that might also be about online searching or web-based searching. So if you folks can help me with synonyms for internet, I'm going to start by putting a bracket around both ends of it, because this is where I want to use the Boolean operator. So I'm telling, by using that parenthesis, I'm saying search for internet, or let's say online, or what's another synonym we could use?
World Wide Web. You do more than
Yes.
one word.
Yeah, I'll just put it
Or
in.
www.
Yep, www or World Wide Web. So that's enough to illustrate, but notice that it's all caps for the word or, and that's like a secret code that I'm giving Google Scholar to say, treat all of these as the same. If you find any source that has World Wide Web, include it in this search. And I'm also, all of those synonyms are going within the brackets. Let me make that a bit bigger so it's visible. So I have the parenthesis at one end, parenthesis at the other, and then in the middle, capital O and R to tell Google Scholar that these are synonyms. And then using search at the end is just basically saying, look for these together. So if I search, then this narrows it down, and you'll see now I'm getting things about online search, internet search, and other synonyms. So that is typically how you use this Boolean operator or, which I find incredibly helpful when I'm looking for more specific content. As long as you put them within parentheses and join them with or in capitals, then Google will be working on your behalf rather than you sort of hoping that you get the best kind of result. Any questions on that about why you might use that? Like, do you see the relevance of it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I can see that. It seems like it would turn up more results than if you use one term. But I could see so often I'll do multiple searches, right? And you're trying for different terms, but it's probably helpful to do it all together, so you're filtering what's turning, instead of try again, it's all right there. So
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good, yeah. And so I also do a lot of research around teaching and learning in college, but there are many words for college. And when I worked overseas, they used the term polytechnic as well. So for me, especially when I was doing my doctorate, I would use polytechnic or university or college or etc. And then whatever else I wanted to look for. So Laura, you and I were just discussing training opportunities for folks in this world. So here, I start a new set of parentheses, and I would say training or workshop or professional. So I'm really narrowing it down to 2 areas, but I want to look at training and college or professional development in university. It will give me all of those hit rather than just university professional development, which would, so you're getting really
I see.
all of the relevant options for you. Okay, over to you, Christina.
Okay.
Melissa, how are you doing? Any questions? I like that word.
I'm not sure what happened.
There we go.
That's wrong. I'm sorry. Hold on. Stand by.
Yep. Take your
No
time.
problem.
There it is coming.
Heyo.
So now we can try it. We can choose some synonyms for our search topic, right? Did I skip anything?
No, that's good.
No? Oh, no, I did. I skipped some stuff.
Okay.
No, we can't try it yet. Okay, so or with the parentheses and the synonyms, and then so we have a little quiz here. If we were to enter our synonym with our Boolean operator, which would be the correct way to put it into the search bar.
How about you, Melissa? What do you think? Do you agree with Laura's answer?
Yep. So A has the parentheses on the outermost part of the whole sentence, and it has capital or in between each word. So A is correct. Congratulations.
Wish we could send chocolate to both of you, especially today.
Right?
So then I have another hack, which is another Boolean operator, and this one is and. And so and is the same, where you make sure that it's all in cap. And if we use and with our word and we try an example, it gives us a different direct for our search. But I'm not going to say what it is yet. So if we want to try one, we could just put in, you can use your topic, take 2 words that you were going to just use the operator and with a parenthesis, or no.
Yeah, no need. Just whatever is on either side of and,
Right.
it will connect.
And you can just, when you finish, you can just say you're finished.
So I see it takes the 2 terms. They don't have to be together in in a sentence. It's anywhere where it's appearing in the same thing is where it turns up results.
Right. So it's a useful tool if you have 2 things and you want to make sure that they're both included in your search. So you did try it. So they're kind of the same in that they can direct your search, but they do have a difference. And so with the Boolean and operator and the or operator, can you guess which one gives the greatest number of hits for your search? Melissa says and.
How about you, Laura?
I was going to say or.
Okay, this is what we wanted to happen.
Okay. Split.
So in this slide, you can see the Venn diagram, and gives just what's in the middle of between the 2. So it narrows your search. Only the things that have both things in the article or results will give you that. And then or is everything for both. So organic. But
I always think of an example with recipes. So if I'm trying to get rid of leftovers or stuff that's about to expire, I'll have like ripe bananas and applesauce, and it gives me a much narrower set of recipes than if I put ripe bananas or applesauce. So imagine it just gives you everything related to that recipe. And this visual is really helpful as well. Sorry, Christina, I'm going to mute my mic now.
That's all right. Now I want banana bread and apple pie.
Sounds good.
So the next thing that Google Scholar is really helpful for is that it can connect you to the college library. And if you're connected to the college library, then it gives you access to information that sometimes is behind a paywall, or but there are things, books, ebooks, articles that you might not otherwise be able to know were there. So doing it is really helpful. And Laura, I don't know if you can do it too, like to add Clarkson's library to it.
Great question
yeah,
for me to find out.
That might be something that you could, because it would just be like a greater tool, more stuff that you add to your fingertips. So basically in Google Scholar, there are 3 little bars at the very top of the left-hand corner of the screen. And when you click on them, it gives you a drop-down menu, and you just click on Settings.
Oddly, you would think you click on My Library, but that's not it. Your library is where any saved.
Yep. And today when I was following the directions, I didn't see the library links, which is the next step. And I kept clicking on My Library thinking that they changed it. I'm like, why is this not working? So yes, don't click on My Library, click on Settings. And then there is a link called Library Link. Click on that. And then when that opens up, there's a search bar, and you enter the name of the college library that you want attached to. So you can enter SUNY Potsdam, and it'll come up. When you have it, you can just click on there'll be a box will open up for it. Click on that box and hit save, and it'll add it to your Google.
And if you like, Christina, I can illustrate sort of the before and after search.
Okay.
Like. Right. You stop sharing. Okay. Can everybody see the screen here? The results from the earlier search?
Yes.
Okay, so typically if you see this right-hand column here, it's going to tell me, by the way, Karen, if you click on this one, you probably have to go through a paywall and pay a journal for this article. But over here, it gives you a link for other options to get access, because I have not set up my library yet. But notice that a lot of the time they give you these other options, but this one doesn't have one. So let me show you. I'll go
That's
to
a
a
hack
free-
right there.
It
That's a
is.
huge hack right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Sorry for the
very,
interruption.
oh, that's okay. And next week we're going to show you a lot more amazing data you can get from Google Scholar. We wanted to give you the basics this week. So these are important to pay attention to. And now I'm going to demonstrate what we can do to add, and I'll try Clarkson as well. So I go up to these hamburger hash marks, scroll past my library, get tempted, but I scroll past down to setting, and then I go to library link. All right, so I'm going to put SUNY Potsdam and search. Okay, so it's giving me full text and ProQuest. So anything that comes up with that name in it, I choose it. So now let me try Clarkson University. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. And I also always have where I also work, Johns Hopkins, so I have access to their library. Oh, it says it probably because, anyhow, I'm not going to worry about it because I misspelled it. But I have enough here, and I'm going to click save. So look at how this changes. So if I had not had that, I would have to go through a paywall for a publisher and pay like $35. Instead, I can click here to get the full text, and it will take me, don't worry, it'll take me to log in to SUNY Potsdam. It's just not doing it live because my internet is not overly strong right now. But notice how more options came up here in this right-handed column. SUNY Potsdam, Clarkson. So this one's not available at SUNY Potsdam, but it is at Clarkson. Okay, so this is really handy, especially while you're a student and paying tuition. These are invaluable. And other times, you know, when you're not paying tuition, you won't have that access, but you probably know people like me who do. And you just reach out to people who do have access and say, look, I see it's at your library. Would you mind getting me this article? I will stop sharing and hand back over to Christina, unless Melissa or Laura, if you have questions. Okay. Oh, Melissa says you can only have 5 libraries. Okay, that's probably another reason why it wasn't letting me add Johns Hopkins. But either way, I need to learn to spell.
So my last my last hack for searching today is search alerts, and that's really, really helpful. And you can use this for not just research, but if you're looking for a job, which is what I use it for, you can actually type in a job search with all the things that you're looking for, and that as things get posted or listed places, they'll send you, like, you'll get notified in your email that but it also works for research. So if you're looking for articles and then maybe you know that there's some project that's going on that they like periodically give an update for or something like that, then you can just type in, you know, your search and then have it sent by your alerts to your email, and then it'll keep you posted kind of as to what's happening. So you always get like the most current information, and it kind of just works for you. Once you set it up, you don't really have to do anything. The only thing that I would recommend is if you do like a lot of searches and you have a lot of alerts, is just to designate one email account for it, because you'll get lots of emails, like then you'll have to sift through. So like I have one for job searches, and then one for like research stuff, and then, you know, one for other stuff like tech stuff. So I always just kind of like, and you have to remember to check them too, the other hack. So that's a really good, I don't know if anyone has done it before, if they heard of it, but it's pretty easy to get started. And basically in Google Scholar, when you enter your search criteria, on the left-hand side of the screen, there's an icon that says create alert. And when you click on it, it gives you some questions to fill out, basically like your email, like basic information, and the number of search results, and then you just click create alert, and then after that's set up, they just start coming in, and then you just have to check them. You can go back, I think, and like stop it, which I'm not sure how to do, but
yeah, you can play with it, and you can also ask it to send you the hits only once a week. So it will index everything in one email, and it will say, this past week, anything related to accessibility in tourism in upstate New York. Here are the 3 things that came out in Google Scholar. And you can do the same, as Christina said, in Google itself. So if you're in my policy class, my leadership class, and my instructional design class, you're researching a problem and a context. And it's that context that is likely to be in the news or to have something in Google, but probably not Google Scholar. So let's say you're looking at something in home care services in upstate New York. So you would even put the name of that organization in Google and set up an alert so that anytime there's a news story or anything at all that comes into the internet would come into your, you would get an alert sent to your email saying this home care or this hospital was just in the news for this reason. And also, as Christina indicated, it's a great job search mechanism. So if you want to work, for example, at Clarkson University, you keep them as a Google Scholar. Yeah, so Melissa, I can demonstrate right now how you do that in Google. If you don't mind, Christina, I'll demonstrate both. Unless you wanted to, Christina?
No, I just, you go ahead. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just quickly show you what Christina said. So we're going back to that original search in Google Scholar. And over here on the left, I can just create an alert if this is what I'm going to be researching for the semester. I will click here, and then I don't have to put anything in here. It's already set up in the search, and I just put create alert, and it will give me those results. Now, another thing is, I follow certain authors. There are certain people who publish that are very important to me. So I put their names here. So let's say Melissa is a researcher I know of, and I want to follow anything that she publishes. I put the name in like this. Or actually, let's do Dr. Beatrice. So if I want, anytime Dr. Beatrice in our program is published, then I will get an alert. So that's Google Scholar, and I'm now going to show you Google Alert. Notice that there's no direct way. You actually have to go to a special website, which I just Googled beforehand, by the way. I don't remember it easily. So google.com/alert. And it says, let me make that a little bit bigger, create an alert about, so what would you like me to search here? Maybe, Melissa, you are researching well-being in the workplace. Does that work? So we'll do well-being. Let's make it a Boolean search. Well-being or retention. Oh, no.
Wellness.
Wellness. Got it. And let's say New York or New York. Okay. And I'm going to put that in parentheses in this. Okay. So notice that I'm using the Boolean operator or for synonyms. And in the middle between those parentheses, I'm using and, because I don't want just anything from California or Australia. I want it in a specific place. So I've got the synonyms, and then I want to create an alert. So now it's created, and it's going to go to my Gmail account. And so I will always get that. And notice, actually, you're seeing my nerdiness. I've got an author whose work I absolutely love, Annie Murphy Paul, and her book, The Extended Mind. So anytime people refer to it on the internet, I get a bing about it. And I just found out about a workshop she's giving this Thursday because of this alert that was set up. It was advertised that it would never come across my plate, but it was advertised, so I was able to get an alert. So yes, you can set the same alert up in Google just by going to google.com/alert, and Google Scholar actually makes it easy for you. They provide this button right here. Okay, Christina, over to you.
So this was just another slide demonstrating kind of the same thing on how to, this is what it would look like, your page, set the alert. So then the next thing is just to practice. So if you want to go ahead and search something and set up an alert based on your search.
So Melissa, I just chatted in a response to your question about care management or health services. So you'll see in the chat that care management and health services, that would go in within parentheses connected by or as you had it, but I would keep the location separate because it's not a synonym of the others, if that makes sense.
So did everyone set up an alert?
And do you need any help? Have you faced any difficulty setting up an alert, either in Google Scholar or Google itself?
No, I think one of the things might be, so I'm reviewing, I have several set up, not with any design or specific intention. Over time, I have added various alerts. I'm thinking, and so this is good to do a check-in, because I'm thinking there's ones on here I just need to delete, but I also, maybe over time, you need to refine the search term. Like, I guess I didn't realize, like, definitely the Boolean thing and other things, like I had terms in there that, and I've always been challenged results I've gotten, and that may be why, right? Like, some of the things that I've gotten back aren't as relevant as I might want. But maybe one of the hacks is to review your alerts and update them,
Yeah.
or refine them over time. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And you kind of outgrow certain things as well. I used to do it semester by semester until I really narrowed down my doctoral research, for example. But now, because I teach so many different types of courses, it's exploded again. But it's also very helpful, as Christina described it. It's about having Google and Google Scholar work for you rather than the other way around.
So for the job search, what do you put in? Do you put like a title and the location or whatever? And then that's
Yep.
very, is that how those people are doing it on LinkedIn, where they're publishing out
Yeah.
lists of, oh, okay. That's
You-
interesting.
Yeah, you can hook it to your LinkedIn, and then there's a way for people who are like checking out your LinkedIn to see what your like alerts
Oh.
are. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, there's a way to make it so that people can see what you're interested in, what you're. I didn't do that to mine, but I guess that you can. I don't know. To me, it didn't seem like it would be helpful. I guess they might just think I'm like all over the place, whatever. But I don't know. But yeah, you can do that. And then I put in like location. So if you're looking for like a warmer climate, perhaps
Right.
you can put all you want, and it's just kind of. But yeah.
Yeah, we could dream.
And just get once a week, you get I'll let you spend 5 minutes fantasizing about the job in California.
Yes.
Yeah. Or
Exactly.
USF, University of Central Florida. That's
Yep.
the one
Yes.
I'm always looking at.
Yeah, I mean, especially for younger, I used to teach HR at the undergraduate level, and my students didn't know about researching the organization that you want to work for. So even if they were in their second or third year, I would say, well, who's your big, hairy, audacious goal that you want to work for? And many would say Amazon or Google or another company. And put them in your search engine. And then when you're in an interview, you can say, oh, I recall that 2 years ago, your stock prices did this, or you won this contract, or it just shows, yet another difference during that interview because you've been getting the regular feed about them.
Yeah,
oh, good,
yeah.
Melissa, you got that. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna agree. It's super helpful, and for even if you follow an author, an artist, or you could just very. So I think that was the end of my search hack secrets week. But next week we're going to have another super interesting session with more secret. Thank you for your Valentine's Day with me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And there's another kind of exit survey that
I've just posted it in the chat, and this will help us to tailor your interests your experience next week. We have a couple of great gems in the wings for you, but also this will allow us to tailor it even more to anything this week that you'd like more practice with, or anything that you have on your horizon there. So if you wouldn't mind completing that form.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for coming.
Okay, I submitted.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I'm going to end recording.